Depression isn't just feeling sad or having a rough day. It's a real mental health condition that messes with your feelings, your thoughts, and how you act. Someone dealing with depression might feel like they've lost their drive, have way less energy than usual, and can't really enjoy the stuff they used to love. It's also tied to changes in brain chemistry, especially things like serotonin and dopamine. Serotonin helps control your mood, sleep, and appetite, while dopamine is more about feeling good, staying motivated, and having energy. When those get out of balance, your mood can seriously drop. So, yeah, it's not about being lazy or having a weak personality, even if some people still think that. Example: someone who used to love drawing might now struggle just to sit down and start. They don't enjoy the colors like before, and even simple things like eating or texting friends can feel super exhausting. There are a bunch of reasons someone might deal with depression, like 1. Long-term health issues like diabetes or heart problems. They affect both your body and your mind. 2. Hormonal changes like during pregnancy, after giving birth, or from thyroid issues. 3. Some medications that can affect your mood. 4. Feeling isolated or losing support, like being lonely or losing someone close. Anxiety is a natural feeling of tension or fear that shows up when we face unfamiliar or challenging situations. In many cases, it actually works as a built-in alert system, helping us stay aware, cautious, and focused. However, when anxiety becomes constant, overwhelming, or appears without a clear reason, it may develop into an anxiety disorder. Anxiety doesn't only affect your thoughts, it can also show up physically, such as a rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, sweating, a sense of losing control. For example, someone with anxiety might go into a simple job interview, but their heart starts racing. Their hands get sweaty. They struggle to breathe, and they feel like they're going to fail, even though there's no real danger. Chronic or excessive anxiety can have several causes, including psychological, physical, and environmental factors, such as genetics. A family history of anxiety or mental health conditions can increase the risk. Brain chemistry: imbalances in neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine can affect mood and stress regulation. Life stress: ongoing pressure from work, school, finances, or relationships. Trauma: painful experiences, especially early in life, such as loss, abuse, or emotional distress. Personality traits: people who tend to overthink or strive for perfection may be more prone to anxiety. Medical conditions or medications: certain health issues like thyroid disorders or heart conditions, as well as some medications, can contribute to anxiety. Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, OCD, is a long-term mental health condition where someone gets stuck with intrusive, unwanted thoughts, obsessions, that keep coming back. To deal with the anxiety those thoughts cause, they feel like they have to do certain actions over and over again, compulsions. For example, someone with OCD might lock the door 3 times and check the stove 5 times before leaving the house. If they don't do it, they feel really anxious. Some common examples of OCD include being super afraid of germs or contamination, constant doubt, like never feeling sure about anything, repeating or arranging things in a very strict, exact way, holding on to stuff and not throwing things away just in case they might need it, always checking doors or appliances over and over, having aggressive or disturbing thoughts about hurting themselves or others, strong religious fears, or worrying a lot about making a mistake. Most people with OCD know these behaviors don't really make sense, but they still feel like they can't stop. OCD can seriously affect daily life, relationships, and even work or school because it takes up a lot of time and energy. The hardest part is the constant anxiety and feeling stuck, like you don't have control over these thoughts. Autism, or Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD, is a brain-related condition that affects how someone communicates, understands others, and interacts socially. For example, someone with autism might have a hard time starting a conversation with classmates, but they could be super focused on things like building with blocks or memorizing map details. They might also get really upset if their daily routine suddenly changes. Autism usually shows up early in childhood and lasts a lifetime. It's part of how the brain develops. It's not something you just cure in the traditional sense. People with autism might deal with things like, trouble reading facial expressions or tone of voice, difficulty starting or keeping a conversation going, repeating certain behaviors, or being really into a specific topic of being extra sensitive to sudden changes or loud noises. Autism isn't a sign of low intelligence. A lot of people on the spectrum have average or even above average intelligence. The goal in understanding autism isn't pity, it's support and understanding, so the person can fit in and navigate life in their own way. Possible causes include genetics. Certain gene differences can increase the chances. Brain development before birth. Differences in how the brain grows can affect social behavior. Environmental factors, like exposure to harmful substances during pregnancy, complications, or being born early. Autism is a spectrum, which means it looks different for everyone. Some people need a lot of daily support. Others live independently and can really excel in areas that need focus and attention to detail. Common misconception. People with autism aren't emotionless. They do feel and express emotions just in their own way. Bipolar disorder is a long-term mental health condition where someone goes through intense mood swings in their energy, feelings, and behavior. It's way more than just normal ups and downs. For example, during a manic phase, someone might suddenly call all their friends and start planning big, expensive stuff, like trips or surprise parties, and insist on doing it right away. Then, during a depressive phase, they might totally shut down, ignore calls and texts, and feel really isolated, even if people are trying to reach out. Types of episodes. 1. Manic episodes, super high mood, tons of energy, and nonstop activity, feeling overly confident, sometimes to the point of risky behavior. Making impulsive decisions, like overspending or jumping into risky plans. Barely sleeping, but not feeling tired. This is often one of the first signs. Talking really fast, trouble focusing, and getting easily distracted too. Depressive episodes. Feeling really down and losing interest in things they used to enjoy. Low energy and struggling with even simple daily tasks. Pulling away from people and feeling guilty or worthless. Sometimes having really negative thoughts, and in severe cases, thoughts about harming themselves, how long it lasts. These episodes usually stick around for weeks or even months. It's not just quick mood changes during the day. What's going on in the brain? It's linked to imbalances in brain chemicals like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. There are also differences in how certain parts of the brain work, especially areas that control emotions and mood. Basically, it's a condition that seriously affects how someone feels and functions, not just a mood swing. Schizophrenia is a complex brain-related mental health condition that affects how someone thinks, perceives things, and understands reality. People with schizophrenia don't lose their personality or go crazy like some people think. Instead, they struggle with telling what's real and what isn't. For example, someone with schizophrenia might refuse to go to a family gathering or meet friends because they genuinely believe someone is trying to hurt them, even though there's no real danger. While talking, they might lose their train of thought, suddenly change topics, or respond in unexpected ways, which can make social interactions really hard for both them and others. Common symptoms. 1. Added experiences. Hallucinations. Hearing voices or seeing things that aren't there. Delusions. False beliefs, like thinking they're being watched or targeted. disorganized speech or thinking, trouble organizing thoughts or expressing them clearly. 2. Negative symptoms, loss of normal functions, losing interest in daily activities or social life, showing less emotion or motivation, difficulty with personal hygiene or self-care. 3. Cognitive symptoms, trouble focusing or making decisions, slower thinking, and difficulty understanding connections between things. What's happening in the brain? Schizophrenia is linked to imbalances in brain chemicals like dopamine and GABA, which affect how signals move in the brain. There are also differences in brain structure and how certain areas, especially the cortex, work, which impacts thinking and emotional control. Possible causes include genetics. Having a family history can increase risk. Environmental factors, stress, brain injuries, or traumatic childhood experiences. Chemical and neurological factors, imbalances in brain activity and neurotransmitters.